Today we're going to talk strongman strength standards. I get asked all the time, if I want to hit X, where should I compete? How strong should I be before I compete? How much do pro level guys do in the gym to be able to compete in major shows like World's Strongest Man, Arnold Strongman Classic, and Strongest Man on Earth? And I'm going to break this down for you for some major strongman movements. Now, I'd love your guys' thoughts in the comments if you think I'm off or if you think I'm correct. These are my personal opinions based on what I've seen and my experience. Disclaimer, I'm going to go through a handful of lists and go from novice, all the way through to world class. You don't need to hit every world class number in order to be a world class strongman. Someone like MITCHELLFGS is a very good example. He does not have a world class deadlift, but he's one of the best strongmen on the planet. So, without further ado, I have log, axle, deadlift, and atlas stone, 4 staple strongman movements that are mostly transferable gym to gym. Now, I'll talk about the criteria on each of these lifts because I don't want anyone to think that a mammoth bar and a deadlift bar and an axle and a deadlift, for example, are going to produce similar numbers. Obviously, they're not. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Each of these are broken down with a number for novice, intermediate, advanced, pro, and world class. Let's start with a log. The log, I say 12 inches. Now, if it's a wood log, it can be slightly less than 12 inches, as they often are. If it's a metal log, it could be slightly more than 12 inches, as they often are. But no 8-inch logs or 10-inch logs, a 12-inch log. And this does make a considerable difference. For a novice lifter, I say 130 kilos is what you should be hitting going into that first contest. If you can't hit this, that's fine. Check out the contest you're doing, see if it's a reasonable weight. And if you're happy to go and just give it your best crack, there's by no means an obligation to hit that before you go. But if I thought, what would I give a person an objective to hit before that first show? I think 130 kilos for an open weight strongman is a good idea. Now, all these numbers are open weight strongman. It would be far too nuanced to go into every weight class and every gender. This is heavyweight open strongman. For an intermediate lifter, for a 12-inch log, I say 150 kilos. Advanced lifter, 170 kilos. A pro lifter, 195 kilos. And a world-class lifter, 205 kilos. Once you get up to that world-class stage, these are top 5 numbers at, say, the log lift world championships. Now, there are many people who can do this, particularly Americans. They seem to come out of the woodworks with every guy under the sun being able to press 200 kilos. But don't lose sight of the fact that a 200-plus kilo log is very, very impressive. And to me, 205 or greater is absolutely considering you world class. Now let's get on to deadlift, the most contested, controversial lift, and probably the one that's thought of the most. I've listed these numbers as suited numbers, although my opinion for novice and intermediate lifters, you should probably do without the suit. But I know a lot of people do like to chuck one on, throw a few extra pounds on the bar, fine. Now the reason I think you should hold off on the suit for a little while is because the suit throws you out of position. And you should learn the proper deadlift position before you get into a suit because you have to fight yourself to stay in that position. Now, for a novice lifter, a suited deadlift, I say 220 kilos is a good mark for an open weight strongman to hit before that first show. For an intermediate lifter, 270 kilos. Advanced lifter, 320. Pro, 400 kilo. And world class, 455 kilos or just over 1,000 pounds. This sounds insane, but the number of guys in strongman right now who can pull 1,000 pounds is off of the charts. If you think of the top level guys right now, myself, Thor, Trey Mitchell, Evan Singleton, Alexei Novikov, to name 5 guys who have done it. Adam Bishop has done it. It's probably 10 guys plus. So world-class deadlift, 455 kilos. This is pushing along really, really well. And hopefully, come September, we have a new deadlift world record at 505 kilos that I aim to set at Giants Live in Birmingham. Next up, we're talking axle. Axle is an interesting lift, and it is very different from the log. The challenge on the axle for most people is the clean. For most, if you can get into the press position, you're going to be able to press it out, and the log is the opposite. So I thought these were useful to list separately. And whether it's a fixed axle or a moving axle, as in do the weights rotate on the ends or not, does make a difference for some people. Personally, it doesn't make a big difference to me, and I almost prefer a fixed axle because I feel like I have more grip on the bar and it's not rotating into my hands. Sometimes on a bar that rotates, I feel like my hands might fly off. For a novice lifter, I've put 120 kilos, intermediate lifter, 140 kilos, advanced lifter, 160 kilos, pro 185 kilos, and world class 195 kilos. That 195 kilo, if we look at the max axle at Giants Live at the Royal Albert Hall this year, there was only a few guys who actually hit this. Me, Tom Stoltman, and only a couple of others. So if you're up in that 195 territory, you are going to be absolutely up with the best in the world. Now, this is 10 kilos lower than the log world class number, which I put at 205. And this basically mirrors the world record. My world record axle is 217 kilos, or potentially 218 kilos, I don't remember. But the world log lift record is 230 kilos. This is relatively consistent with those numbers. Lastly, we're talking Atlas stones. This is the one that I have the most difficulty putting out there with any confidence because every stone is different. How sticky is it? How new is it? How wide is it? All of those things matter tremendously. So for sake of argument, I'm going to say to 1.3 meter platform with a 21-inch diameter stone. A novice lifter should lift 130 kilos. Intermediate, 155 kilos, advanced, 170 kilos, pro, 200 kilos, and world class, 230 kilos. That is my personal opinion on those 4 lifts. Now, I don't want anyone watching this video and thinking if you're less than the novice number that you shouldn't or can't compete. There are so many welcoming competitions with lower numbers, and you should go out there and give it your all. And the true beauty in the sport is not necessarily hitting numbers big relative to everyone else, but hitting numbers big relative to what you can do. Now, if you want to pass on this message of doing the things that you can do, striving to be the best that you can be, and wanting to spread the message of lifting heavy and being kind to as many people in the strength community to grow this community as much as possible, go ahead and check out the YouTube shop down below. We have donated over $50,000 back to the strength community, and we will continue to do that because people getting into this world is very important. Not because the pro level is so awesome, but because at local shows, there are people getting cheered for the first time in their life. That gets them into exercise. That improves their physical and their mental well-being. And that is our mission with Lift Heavy, Be Kind. So check out that YouTube shop if you want to support the channel, or if you just want to get a great message out there and support a good cause. Until tomorrow, thank you very much for watching. Leave your comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Lift Heavy and Be Kind.